Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the German Tier 8 Premium Tank Destroyer, the Kanonenjagdpanzer, the original Kanonenjagdpanzer. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Kanonenjagdpanzer, this is the tank that you're going to be getting at level 100 in the Season Pass, completely for free. In fact, you don't actually have to buy the Season Pass to get this vehicle for free. And this is the original tank destroyer for the Kanonenjagdpanzer, because the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105 is a later variant. And this was the one that was released first with the 90mm gun. It's got super duper camouflage, it's got fantastic gun handling, it's got pretty good pen these days, and it's got amazing DPM. It's just the fact that it's got that lower alpha, which means you have to expose yourself a little bit more to keep the gun firing. It's basically like a Tier 8 E25, although the camo doesn't work quite as well as the E25 naturally, because it's got the broken camouflage where it doesn't actually get that badly affected by firing, but you get the point. The Kanonenjagdpanzer it's a pretty decent little tank destroyer. It's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. I don't like the tank at all, but that's because the Kanonenjagdpanzer, Kanonenjagdpanzer 105, all these types of tanks like this, they're just not my cup of tea whatsoever. I prefer playing something like the IC-152, or the IC-152K, I suppose, really. You know, with the slower, derpier, big guns, that's me more than having a super stealthy, super quick, super fast firing vehicle. I just don't enjoy this kind of gameplay whatsoever, as it's just not me, you know. I like being aggressive, and sometimes I don't feel like I can be aggressive in these vehicles as much. But you can play this thing like a scout if you want to, and you're probably going to see that a little bit in the next replay, that sometimes you can just be a scout because the camouflage is that good, and you have decent view range as well on it, or decent enough that you can spot for yourself. So the Kanonenjagdpanzer, it's got a 70km/h top speed with a 20km/h reverse speed, 500 horsepower engine, which is 19.46 horsepower per ton ratio, means you absolutely fly to that top speed. It is a super mobile vehicle, and you don't really struggle with the mobility of this tank whatsoever. Just sometimes, obviously, when you're trying to back out of a situation, it can be a bit of a pain because the 20 kilometers an hour is still quick, but when you can get out of dodge forwards really fast, sometimes it feels a little bit slow, but it's still great reverse speed for World War II. 46 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed means the tracks turn pretty damn fast, meaning you can get your gun on target very quickly, snap in and get the shots away. You've got ground resistances that don't hold the tank back whatsoever. 186 meters of still concealment, which is absolutely immense. This thing has to really be played far further back than, well, as far back as you can. Use bush cover, use concealment as much as possible, and then you can farm away and you'll really be struggling to get spotted. 211 meters of on-the-move concealment is also very, very good. Really helps you to get to aggressive bush locations really easily without getting spotted too easily. And again, that really helps you to play a scout role sometimes too. 461 meters of view range is pretty okay. It's not fantastic view range, to be perfectly honest, but it's good enough with having such fantastic camouflage that you'll still be able to outspot tanks at good distances. 0.38 accuracy during rotation is really good. It means that when you turn the tank, it doesn't affect the bloom too much. But you've got a 3.06 accuracy during movement, and that is really poor, and it means the aim circle does bloom out quite a bit, and it makes quite a bit of difference with how bad that is with how big the aim circle will get. But you do have a 1.66 second aim time, and that is absolutely phenomenal, meaning you do aim this gun in very quickly when you do come to a complete stop. 8 degrees of gun depression means you can be pretty flexible on a ridgeline, and that can be quite good for the Kanonenjagdpanzer here as well, as that means that when you go to any kind of ridgeline, you can expose very little of your tank, go in a bush or something like that, and people will struggle to spot you, and you can use your gun depression to limit the amount of tank that people have to shoot. You've got 0.24 accuracy at 100 meters, which is absolutely incredible. It means that this tank is extremely accurate. 3.79 second reload is 3.8k DPM, which is absolutely phenomenal DPM for a Tier 8, and a Tier 8 tank destroyer at that. And if you add in the HESH rounds, which have 102mm of penetration, and you start farming them into stuff like this GW Tiger Pig, your DPM just goes through the roof as well. And that DPM is fantastic. 245 pen on the standard APCR rounds, with 275 pen on the premium heat rounds, 102 pen on the HE rounds, which is great, 4320 alpha on those HE rounds, and 240 on the other two. Means that, like I say, you do have a fairly low alpha damage, and it means you have to fire a lot to rack up damage, but you have that insane DPM. You got 1478 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR round, and 1145 meters a second shell velocity on the premium heat round, which means your velocity is still very good even on the premium. I mean, you don't have to give too much lead at distance to be able to hit your targets with the APCR, but just bear in mind that if you switch to the heat rounds, just give a little bit more lead, and then you won't struggle to hit your shots. And the HE round has 755 meters a second shell velocity, so it's really not that great. You also have 150% silver earn rate on this tank, so it doesn't have the highest silver earn rate in the world, but it still will make a decent amount of silver because you don't need premium all that often in it. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the old Kanonenjagdpanzer 105? Well, I run a super stealthy tank crew to be able to maximise that camo. I run Ball Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Muffled Shot, and Green Thumb, with the Advanced Loader, the Camo Net, and Optics. Optics to be able to get the 461 meters of view range, so I can at least try to spot for myself. The Camo Net to get that insane camo of 186 meters of still concealment that we have, with all of those camo perks to also help that. Silent Driving to get the detectability while moving down as low as possible. Green Thumb to increase our camo while in a bush. The Muffled Shot to reduce the effect of firing on our camo, and the Camouflage Expertise to just generally make the camo better on this tank if possible. And the Steady Aim to make the gun accuracy just that little bit better, so that when we do get to snapshots, we're generally hitting them. But there's plenty of ways to run the vehicle. Like I say, you could even drop Steady Aim because the accuracy is just that good on this vehicle. The little bit it does improve it. You could probably run something else instead of it. But yeah, I just run all the camo perks because the thing that this tank is camo. It has to have the best camo it can get, because as soon as you get spotted, you tend to get rinsed. And yeah, if you're getting spotted, you're generally going to be dying. Whereas you can stay unspotted, you can farm up really easily, and you can have some very good games if you get into those farmy locations. So in this second game here on Lakeville, I decided, you know what, I couldn't be bothered with the normal route of the way that this game could go on this map, and I wasn't too sure about going towards the town because you never know how many of their team will go that way. And also, I didn't want to go sit towards the 2 line and sit and farm people as they came up there because it was just going to be a bit of a pain. I don't really have the alpha to do that. I want to be in a position where I can farm up. But in fact, what we decided to do was go full scout mode. Nothing seemed to go down the 4 line, so we went this way to go spot for our team and then try and find shots ourselves. And that's exactly what we've done. We managed to get 1886 assistance so far because we spotted pretty much all the tanks that were down here. And then we've managed to get ourselves a good bit of damage while trying to farm up stuff like this AT-15, which we've unfortunately bounced off a couple of times there. But we also got 2.6k assistance. Unfortunately, we get smacked by the SVAT 105 there, who I thought had run off. The T-44's running through, and I was thinking, oh, please don't RB our team with Mr. T-44. I don't want to die right now. But thankfully, we managed to keep getting the shots in. That one bounces off the side of the turret, the T-44. I'm surprised by that. But he is quite clearly coming after us. So we put a shot into his lower plate. I know that he's probably going to die to my team. But in fact, if he just drives around this corner, I should be able to just finish him off. Which he does, because he was full sending. And we finish off the T-44 there. We switched to the HE rounds because we've got 102mm of pen and we should be able to go through that IKV quite easily. The IKV doesn't have the best view range, but he has very good camo, whereas I don't have the best view range, but I also have very good camo. So I pop a blind fire in towards where that IKV was, but I didn't end up hitting it. Now my TD friend is moving forwards. I'm just going to wait to see if that IKV will get spotted. Then I can fire the HE at that IKV and pen it with the 102 pen. But he's not fired at this Grom, and I was fully expecting him to fire at the Grom, and in fact, there he is. He finally gets spotted. He took that long to fire. I just didn't expect him to take so long, but there we go. We put the other HE round into the IKV after finishing off the artillery, securing our 5th kill of the game for 2013 damage, 2.8k assistance damage so far. Artillery numero dos is behind that little ledge, and I was really hoping he'd just YOLO forward so I could get the shots in. But I've also only got 9 HP, so I have to be very careful when going after these guys, as they could just kill me. We try and get the shot into the Vanguard, but we end up hitting the Grom. He's fired all of his shells, though, the Vanguard, so we end up finishing him off. We're going to use this little ledge here to try and get ourselves up so we can get another shot into the Iron Rain before he goes down, which we do. Pull back so that the Iron Rain can't finish us off, and then let our team end up finishing him off as well. We finished the game with a pretty decent total there for the Kanonenjagdpanzer, being very aggressive, playing it very scout-like, and we finished with the epic victory, 6 kills, 2.4k damage, 2.8k assist. The first class, the Top Gun, the Pascucci's medal, with the 1848 base XP. A pretty nice game there for the Kanonenjagdpanzer on that map, which was Lakeville. And like I say, you can play it like a scout if you want to, because your camo is that good. If you use the fantastic mobility this thing has, the average, the very, well, less than average view range, it's not got the best view range in the universe. If you use the view range and the bush cover, you should be able to spot for your team and get yourself some damage, and then also get yourselves into very aggressive positions where you can use bush cover, farm away, stay unspotted, and then just rack up that damage. And we're on this third replay here on Campbellberg. And on Campbellberg, what I was going to do was rush over to the corner at K0, where I could use the bushes, stay unspotted, and farm anyone that tries to go to K7-8, because you can do that. But as we're on the way, this LTTB gets spotted going after our HWK, and I'm just trying to keep the damage flowing into him. We were getting detected there, but I wasn't quite sure how anything could have been seeing me because I've got this rock on my right-hand side, and I'm just waiting to get unspotted before I decide to go forwards and move somewhere else. We've tried to help the HWK out as much as humanly possible so that he could take out that LTTB, and he does end up managing to do that in the end, which is fantastic, because that's one scout down. They have a heavy tank spotted at K6, and that made me hesitate a little bit, but I'm just watching the corner to see if anything gets spotted, like where that ISU was. We pop a blind fire at the bush, number 1 to see if I get spotted, but number 2 to see if I could just get a cheeky blind fire. And so you never know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But we didn't hit anything, and we didn't get spotted, which means that I knew that I could make this cross without probably getting spotted myself, and get into this corner at K0 where I want to be, where I can use the bush cover and try and farm up this ISU 152K. Because if he's down in that little area he is there, I should be able to farm him without really getting spotted if I use the bushes properly. So we're poking over to see if we can find shots into the ISU, but the ISU's actually left. It's one of those awkward ones where you go, I'm here now, I can shoot. Wait, you got yourself safe behind cover? Oh, why? I just wanted to shoot you. It's all I wanted to do, Mr. ISU. Why did you have to run away? But we're just going to be very patient because that's just what we need to be. KV4 gets spotted. We're going to pull back so we've got the bush cover. We just see the side of that guy and we ricochet. 245 pen of APCR ricochets off the side of the KV4, which I was completely not expecting. We bounce off his side once again. We bounce off his drive wheel, 245 pen on this APCR. I was fully expecting to pen that guy, but apparently not. But we do get to finish him off. We pull back so that we're firing at this ISU through the bush cover. He's never going to be able to see us, but I was being as careful as humanly possible. So you can see I pulled back to the full width of my gun depression. The reason for that is because he was clearly looking for shell tracers, and I didn't want to gift him an easy 700 damage. So we pulled back so it was as hard as possible for him to trace where our tracers are coming from. And then when he pulled back to get safe, we got out of dodge. But I feel like if I get up behind that guy, I should be able to put 2 shots in and finish him off. And he'll be looking the other way. But with him taking a hit there, it means he's a one-shot. So let's go get rid of this ISU-152. In fact, it's not an ISU-152K. It's a Tech Tree ISU-152. But I just took the opportunity. I knew that I could get up behind him and put 2 shots into him to finish him off before he'd ever managed to turn around to finish me off. But he took a hit, which meant that he was a one-shot and it was quite easy to shut him down. We did end up finding a UDES a second ago as well, which surprised me, but he didn't see me, and that's because the UDES has pretty terrible view range, and because I have such good camo, it is a real struggle for him to spot me. So I'm trying to actually move into some bushes. Why do I want to be in these bushes? So I can spot the position that that UDES is in, and also possibly find anyone that's in this middle area. Because there's usually someone knocking around here, and there we go, we find the G-Saw. Now, I don't want to take that shot. If I take that shot, that G-Saw is likely going to be able to shoot me. But he loses most of his hit points, and I didn't get all of the assistance for that. I only got 528, which means the light tank was possibly spotting him as well. But we're going for the slim to nothing shot there into the G-Saw, and 0.24 accuracy, so I thought I might actually hit that turret. Bounce, maybe, but I thought I might actually still hit it. So sadly, we didn't get the shot in, and we don't get to get rid of that guy. There's a Tiger 1 spotted at the back. He took a... I don't think he was blind firing me there. I think he was shooting the heavy tank that's currently behind me, but there we go. Iron Rain gets lit up. We break the engine of the Iron Rain. I'm really hoping to do that again. So we put 1 shot in. We get a crit. But, oh no, disaster. We get spotted as we were about to farm up that Iron Rain. We saw 2 crit ribbons there go through as we shot at that Iron Rain blind, which makes me think I broke his engine, which meant I could have probably farmed him. But, because we got spotted, I didn't want to sit there because, well, you know, Iron Rains hurt. If they can clip you out, they will, and we don't want that. So the G-Soul gets shut down by the SVAC 105, which is great. And now I'm in a position where if they get spotted like that Tiger did at the back, I should be able to farm away. So the Challenger gets spotted. We put 1 shot in, he gets absolutely wrecked. And this is really the problem for me with the Kanonenjagdpanzer and why I like some of the higher alpha ones like the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105, even though I don't really like the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105. It's not my playstyle once again. But why I prefer that, because that one opportunity I actually had to fire at that Challenger, I could have done 390 alpha, whereas this only did 240, and then he died anyway, right? But we're farming up the Dreadnought, and we couldn't do this in the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105, we could only do this in this tank, and that's just how fast he evaporated there, because the DPM on this thing is insane. Just waiting for the Tiger to possibly poke out, but he doesn't. And there's an Iron Rain, the UDES, and something else knocking around, so we load the HEP rounds, or the HE rounds, so we can go after Mr. UDES 03, because with the HE, we should be able to go through him with 102 pen. So we aim for that lower plate, it goes underneath him, so it splashes him. We go for the lower plate shot that time, 306 damage, and finish him off with a ram. We actually bounced the IS, which was very, very fortunate. And we unfortunately couldn't actually get a shot in to shut him down either, and the Iron Rain gets finished off. So we finished the game with a really nice total there for the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105. The 4 kills, 4.2k damage, 1600 assistance damage. The first class, the Sniper Medal, the High Caliber, with the 1912 base XP. A really nice game there for the Kanonenjagdpanzer 105, which, like I say, is a really good super stealthy tank. It just has to fire a lot to do a lot of the damage, and it's really not my thing at all. But if you like the super stealthy tank destroyers, you'll probably like this vehicle. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!